Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I'm the host of South Carolina Weather, Joseph Peterson. Let's go ahead and start off with the weather for your Tuesday evening. Looking at South Carolina right now, if you saw my post that I posted at around 4, 5, 6 o'clock, I was showing the precipitation the south, moving up into South Carolina, which is another reason to why you should be paying attention and seeing if I posted or not, because that may have been vital information. You may want to, wanted to know. So, you just gotta check. You just gotta check more often. That's just how it is. The few people that did see it knew. But okay. Anyways, so yeah, I say around a half of the state is getting precipitation right now. The other half is doing pretty well right now. At my house, we have already gotten around 100th of an inch. I'm inside Somerville, so we've already gotten around 100th of an inch of rain. So that is that. And once we get into just mainly the East Coast in general, is just getting dominated right now by rain. We have some potential severe storms trying to move eastward into Florida now. A huge line of storms, probably bringing some strong winds, and we have some supercells, as you can see inside of Florida right now, bringing potential for that hail and maybe even isolated tornadoes. So we are watching down there for Florida. We do just have like some heavy rain over here inside of places like Jackson, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, places like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up real quick. I'm just gonna slide something out the way. All right. But yes, we do have that heavy precipitation here for, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Maybe bringing a couple of claps of thunder, but I'm not really watching for anything too bad. We are also watching as well for some more claps of thunder that could also be possible inside the Ohio Valley. And we do have some rain up here inside of the Northeast as well. That's potentially bringing some heavy rain as well. This is not cool enough for it to be snow, so it's not snow, still rain. And then the central U.S. is looking kinda clear, not really. We do have a strong storm right now near Dallas right now, and then we do have some snow and some rain over here inside of the western U.S. So that is the current radar right now. Now let's go on ahead and look at the current cloud cover. Obviously, anyone with common sense right now would probably know that we're probably going to be covered with clouds because of the rain that's pushing in. And I talked about it this morning. Again, another reason why you should subscribe, because I talked about that this morning. And here we go. It is looking to be cloudy pretty much today, going into tomorrow, and probably for the rest of Wednesday night. And then Thursday morning, we probably will have a nice break. And then we will go on ahead and get this system out of our hair, and we don't have to worry about it no more. But we are still watching for that severe weather and flash flooding for Saturday. Still a lot of uncertainty with that day. So, but we're gonna go ahead and go over that at the end of the video, or the end of the forecast, I should say. The last part will be severe weather. So here is our cloud cover. Now let's go on ahead and move on to our current temperatures. Current temperature 64 in Columbia, 61 in Charleston, 59 in Georgetown, 59 in Myrtle Beach, 66 in Sumter, 64 in Florence, 61 in Greenville, 66 in Augusta, 64 in Walterboro, 62 in Beaufort, 66 in Orangeburg, and 62 in Rock Hill. Those are just a couple of locations. Obviously, I'm not going to name every single one, but these are just the temperatures for some towns and maybe even some cities for South Carolina. Here is our minimum temperature for tonight, around 58, Columbia 58 for Sumter, Florence 59 for Myrtle Beach, 61, I think that is for Charleston, 55 up there for the upstate, 61 near Augusta, 62 near Savannah. So temperatures can be just really determines where you are. If you're near the upstate, it could be a cool night tonight. If you're near the coast, it could be kind of a cool but warm night, if that makes sense. More cool, but definitely not as cool. Just see spring like temperatures coming in. We also do have some wind gust as well that might come into play. 22 at Myrtle Beach, 21 at Charleston, 14 up there for Columbia and Sumter, 15 at the Florence region, 21 over there near the upstate for Greenville, 15 for Augusta. So that is that. And let's go on ahead and continue on and talk about the precipitation for the next 24 hours. Obviously, precipitation is a huge factor around from now until tomorrow, 7 p.m., around 1.3 inches could fall in Greenville, 1.1 could fall inside of Columbia, about 1 inch could fall inside of, trying to figure out, 1 inch could fall inside of Sumter, 0.8 inside of Florence, 0.7 Myrtle Beach, 0.8 Charleston. I think I already said that, but the main threat, the main region, I should say, that we're watching for is mainly up there in the upstate to where most of that precipitation would fall. If we go, as I just clicked the wrong button by accident, but if we go on ahead and go back to the WPC forecast, please, alright, and if we go to 48 hours out, you go ahead and look at it, you can already see that around nothing really changes, so that just kind of tells us that most of the rain will fall tonight and Wednesday morning going into Wednesday afternoon. Then once we go to around Friday, 7 p.m., we're going to obviously have some more rain totals. Not really too much more, around just another tenth of an inch could fall. And then once we go to 120 hours, this is where things start to pick up a lot. As you can see, around 2 inches for Charleston, 1.7 for Myrtle Beach, 3 inches for Columbia, and almost 4 inches for Greenville, Spartanburg region, the upstate mainly. And maybe some isolated 4.5 inches in some spots where that yellow is. So we're just watching for that, seeing what's going to happen. We definitely are going to have to monitor how much rain will fall. That's why we're under that risk for excessive rainfall. We can even go 7 days out as well, I'm pretty sure we can. It doesn't really change too much of anything else, but again, still just going to have to watch for this huge bulge of precipitation. Here is the radar 2 that covers 17 hours out from now. Actually, it does, yeah, okay. So, here we go, and we push it forward. There you can see that precipitation coming, and it is here tomorrow morning. We push that forward some more, and I am watching for some thunderstorm development, especially for the coast. The coast is a good region for those thunderstorms to start. I also am watching it for, especially in the Myrtle Beach region going into North Carolina. I don't know. I just have this creeping suspicion. I'll show y'all my SPC outlook as well. But I have a suspicion that something could pop up there that, may catch people off guard. I will show y'all that later though, but obviously need that umbrella tomorrow. Bring it. If you don't know where it is, I recommend looking for it now. Here is the SPC outlook for right now. We do have a small marginal risk for over here just east of Dallas, and then the rest of it for Miami, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Hialeah, and Orlando is inside of a marginal risk. Fort Myers is in there. Melbourne, Florida is in there as well. And we have a TSTM that goes pretty much from Buffalo, New York, down through Cincinnati, Columbus, Pittsburgh, goes down to the deep south, Texas, and up the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina. So we're just waiting to see if these two marginal risks will verify. I know that Florida's getting some storms right now, and mainly supercells right now, but they have like a huge line of storms that's coming their way now. So we'll wait to see what happens with that. But speaking of that, let's go on ahead and look at my forecast, I should say. So here we go, looking at scene 2. This is my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you have not already. But here we go. I did put a marginal risk of severe weather, obviously for Texas. This is for tomorrow, by the way. I probably should have pointed that out. This is for tomorrow for parts of Texas, Florida, and this little part of South Carolina right here. I do think that we do have the potential to see some storms pop up. I mean, we have the Cape, we have the Cape, we have the upper winds, we have the dew points. I think that it's a great potential that something could definitely happen up there. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, especially up inside North Carolina. I think has the greatest shot of seeing this weather. You can go on ahead as well and check up on the day 2 risk from the SPC. The SPC pretty much has both of the things that I put, but do not have the marginal risk of severe weather for parts of Myrtle Beach and going up into Wilmington, North Carolina. I added that marginal risk in myself because I just think that something could happen. Obviously, I'm not a pro meteorologist. I'm not always sure about everything that I do, but they are the experts, so always go with what they say. And that's just something that I believe. But we're going to go ahead and show the other models for day 2. So let's go on ahead and switch over to scene 2. Here is the CSU model. And we're just going to do the CSU model for this one right here. All right. So here's our day 2 risk from the CSU. The CSU is showing the potential for that wind and that hail risk. A bit of a wind threat for Florida, and then some hail threat for Texas, going to Arkansas, the Arklatex region, and coastal Georgia. Is a potential to where they think some small hail could occur. The CIPS, which is a bit of a more reliable model, does not really have the hail at Georgia or the coastal region of Georgia. It has actually a hail threat for actually Florida and for over here in Texas. So it did point both of those regions out. So that is that. And we also do have a bit of a tornado risk as well. From the CIPS does show a 2% chance of tornadoes for eastern Florida. And then this is the part where I was talking about how things could potentially spark up. The CIPS agrees with me, saying that a 5% risk for Florida is possible. And then we have a possible 15%, that's not 15, a 10% risk for North Carolina as well. So we're just waiting to see what happens with that. And let's go on ahead and continue for the day 3. Here we go. Day 3, I am watching this very, very closely. The CSU, for the first time in forever, is not showing, like it's not overhyping it. It's actually being conservative. That is very unlike the CSU. The CSU always goes all out. But I guess the CSU just does not really think that much will happen. Obviously, this can change. We're 3 days out. We can barely tell anything an hour out. So, I mean, we can... 3 days out, this is what the CSU thinks. Here is the CIPS, which is the more kind of not too aggressive but not too conservative model. It does show a 15% risk for mainly the southern panhandle of Texas. We do also have that 10% that surrounds it. Actually, I don't even think. No, that's a 30%. I'm sorry. I said a 15% risk. That little region right here, that's a 30% risk. The little orange region up here, the light orange, is kind of like the 15. The yellow is the 10. So I apologize for that. But yes, they're showing an enhanced risk. The CSU is showing a marginal, and the SPC, which is the actual meteorologists themselves, say only a 15%, so a slight risk. So marginal, slight, enhanced. I mean, we're just waiting to see what happens with this, and I really do want to see what the models show for tomorrow. We will talk about that tomorrow night. But here is day 4, not the day I think that potentially for tornado-wise, day 4 could potentially be a bit more more structured and more in place than day 3. But day 4, by the way, I say this day 3, day 4. Day 3, the way how you find out days is if you go to like Tuesday or something like that, and you start off the Tuesday. Today would be day 1. As soon as it hits 12 a.m. and you go to Wednesday, um, that's day 2. That's day 1. All right. So let's talk about Tuesday. Wednesday would be day 2 because it's tomorrow. Thursday would be day 3 because it's the 7th. Friday would be day 4 because it's the 8th. Saturday will be day 5 because it's the 9th, and it's, I should say, 5 days out. Sunday would be the 6th because it is 6 days out. So it pretty much just acts, you got to figure out what is today's date, and you got to count today. So like 9 minus 5, for example, is 4, but it's actually the 5th day. So it's pretty much, it's kind of confusing to explain. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think if you don't get it, just let me know. But it pretty much just goes like, if today was Tuesday, today would be day 1. Wednesday would be day 2 because it's tomorrow. Thursday, day 3 because it's the day after tomorrow. So that's pretty much as easy as I can explain it. But yes, continuing on, day 4, which would be Friday. We do have that 15% risk from the SPC, the slight risk right here from the CSU not being as aggressive, I should say, as it usually is. It does show that slight risk actually kind of going more like upward though, towards like Oklahoma and Arkansas. And then the CIPS does show a big 15% risk for Texas going into Alabama as well. And then this is the day that we need to worry about, day 5. This is Saturday. Saturday is the day I've been talking about for the past couple of days. I've been saying that it's really looking like something could happen. We have mainly a slight, from the CSU, a slight risk of severe weather pretty much for most of South Carolina except for the coast, to where they think the coast could only just receive a marginal. If you are at the coast, the SPC has nothing yet, so the actual human meteorologists do not have anything yet. But the CIPS is also pointing something out as well, but kind of really restricted to the Midlands and to the western coast of South Carolina, going up to Florence and places like that. And that's pretty much that. They have nothing for day 6, 7, or 8. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to excessive rainfall. Obviously tonight, this is our excessive rainfall. Again, I said if you were at western South Carolina or in western South Carolina, you probably need to watch out for some potential isolated flash flooding. But if we go into tomorrow, we do have a slight risk up there in New England. For New Jersey, New York City now is included, eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and eastern Massachusetts. We have a marginal risk surrounding that. We also do have a marginal risk for Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Barbara, and we also do have a marginal risk for excessive rainfall for Miami, Hialeah, West Palm Beach. All those places are in there as well. For day 3, this is for Thursday, we do have a marginal risk that goes all the way from Missouri, Kansas, all the way down through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. So if you know anybody inside those regions, please let them know that some isolated flash flooding is possible on Thursday. Or just send them the video, whichever one you would want to do. And so now let's go ahead and look at the excessive rainfall outlooks from the CSU. The CSU is being very interesting today, I will say. Been very, very interesting. Because if you go on ahead and look at the day 1 outlooks, you can see that we do have that marginal risk of excessive rainfall already in place for today. And then they thought that a potential slight risk could have been added, but it wasn't. So we're going to go ahead and go to the day 1 through 2. both models agree with the WPC actually. Both of them actually agree saying that the slight risk probably should be added. And that's what they did. They added the slight risk. So the day 2, I can confirm that they probably are pretty reliable. And then here we go. We're going to go on to the ARI model, the ARI. I just say ARI because it just sounds better. But obviously day 3 we do have that marginal risk of excessive rainfall. Then we have day 4, which they're being really aggressive with, thinking that if there was an enhanced risk of excessive rainfall, this would probably be an enhanced risk. But remember, there's no enhanced risk. It only goes marginal, then it goes slight, then it skips over enhanced, and then it goes to moderate, then high. So definitely a slight risk of excessive rainfall is definitely possible for day 4. I think actually there is one actually in effect. And then we do have a day 5 risk for mainly most of South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, places like that. So that is for our day 5. And let's go ahead and move on to I think it's the UFVS, my bad. The UFVS is kind of a bit more aggressive, especially with Saturday. As you can see with us, a slight risk of excessive rainfall is possible, according to them. And they do think that enhanced quote-unquote risk of excessive rainfall is still there. So we just gotta wait on that and see what happens, see if they verify or not. And then if you go ahead and look at the day 6, day 7, day 8, nothing is expected. So we're gonna go ahead and just zoom out because that's all we have for that. And now let's go ahead and look at the GFS model for the last part of the video. So let's go ahead and we're gonna close that out. All right. So now here we are, and we're gonna go ahead and interact, and there we go. All right. So here we go with the GFS. We push this forward. There goes that marginal risk of severe weather. I don't know why I said marginal risk. I don't even know why I said that, but that rain moving off the coast. Then we have this other one right here going through. And that's going to push through, bring us that potential for that severe weather and flash flooding on Saturday. We push this forward some more. And then we get another risk of that heavy rain on March the 14th. And then we have this huge system right here that's going to maybe bring us some showers, but I'm not really looking at anything too badly. And then we have another system that could potentially bring us some showers on the 17th. And then we get a bit of a quiet period. And then we kind of get avoided by most of the things that comes after that. So around March the 17th is the last like 300 hours or so. It's not really predicting anything too bad. Actually, us under a high pressure. And that's going to be about it. So thank y'all so much for watching this forecast update. Make sure that y'all do actually end up subscribing to the channel, because if you do, you can ensure you can get daily updates from me like every single day. And usually I try to be as accurate as possible, but you can always get those daily forecast updates from me. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning with another forecast update.